this point. There's a little bit of residual heat left in the blade. I can test that by either spitting on it or dropping a little bit of water on it. We're safe enough that we can cool this off within reason. I'm going to clean this up some. I'm going to clean up the profile. I'm going to grind this a little bit. I left my forge going because I do have a couple other projects I'm working on. And I plan on quenching this after I get it ground. So here we go. nicely. So what I have here, I now have a rough grind. I can inspect for cracks. There's surface texture. Pretty good on this. Now, next step of the process is going to be heat this, quench it, then temper it, then I'm going to drill it. Fun stuff. I'm tired. This stuff wears me out. I've got one project I'm working on that's actually in the forge right now. And I'm going to run it under my power hammer real quick, just so I can get a little more done instead of wasting the heat. So I've got a billet of cable Damascus. There we go. Oh, I got dark. That's weird. I have a billet of cable Damascus, and I'm going to run that under the power hammer. Working on thinning that out a little bit. This project wasn't in the description. I do not know why it got as dark as what it has here. I wasn't planning on doing this on camera. It was actually a secondary project, but since everybody's watching and it's a fairly short live, we're going to go ahead and do this anyway. And I figure if I've got a heat treated spear, I might as well get a knife in too, right? Sounds like a plan. Rotate over to the power hammer. Next step in this process, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to widen that blade out just a little bit. Then I'll go to the tang, I'll thin it down. Then I'm going to bring that spearhead up to temperature. We're going to quench it. It's not going to soak as long as what I would at knife blade, but I think I'm still going to get a real good result with it. I want sharpness, I want durability more than anything, because there has to be penetration. There's going to be a lot of torque on this. You think it's probably going to have probably a 6-foot shaft on this, 6.5 foot. But right now I'm making a knife. I'm going to heat up the tang now, thin out the tang, and then I'm going to go into heat treating for the spearhead, which is right here. I think that ought to work pretty good for spearing things, right? I hope so. Get that a little bit hotter. Okay, so please, if you would, like and subscribe, share this out. I can use as many followers as I can get. Be creating more content. We do have a website, Forge Memory, that Robbie Bowman's created. It's going to be coming online very shortly, and we'll be covering some of that information quite soon. Okay, boys and girls, it is time. I'm going to move this back. Wondering why I'm moving a bucket of water over here. I'm going to quench in the oil. Now, once I do that, I'm still going to have some oil burning on the blade, and the scale is still going to be on the blade. Some of it. I'm going to do it very quick, very fast dip in the water. That's going to create steam. That's going to remove a lot of that scale, as well as removing some of the oil from the blade. Are you ready? I'm not. We still got a ways to go on the forge here. There it is. Okay. Now, I think what I should do, I want to try to get the whole thing in shot. If I have to straighten, I'm going to be coming over here to the anvil. different blades require different heat treats, different edge geometries. There are a lot of variables. You don't want a knife edge on an axe that you're going to be splitting with. You don't want an axe edge on a knife that you're going to be shaving with. You don't want a razor thin blade on something you're going to try to chop heavier hard objects with. So finding that happy medium with a spear, spears are kind of like axes. You can have a little bit of good steel and you can have a pretty effective weapon or tool. So if we think of a spear as more of a pointy chisel, if you will, you only have to worry about the contact area being of a higher grade steel, of a high carbon steel. What we're going to do here, I've done 3 grade refinement cycles, and the idea is that I want that to be strong. I want it to be resilient, but at the same time, I want that blade to not bend, and I don't want it to chip out. So there's a lot of variables here. Did you get a new coat? Just a second here. All right. I'm going to quench a spearhead. Cheyenne, can you?
Got it.
Actually, let's do this. We're going to turn this around. And it's facing up.
You invest all sorts of footwork, don't you? So let me show you what we have. We have an area that was thicker that retained more heat, and this is going to be kind of a springier. There's a little auto tempering, and then a harder section down here. So hopefully that is that makes this a little stronger, a little more resilient. And you can see that white martensite from the quench. I showed you my technique using water. The rest of this, we're just going to go ahead and let it cool. You can actually see where some of that's starting to auto temper here, which you have to be cautious about that. So I'm not so worried about this section here, where it's probably a little more springy. In fact, that's desirable on this particular build. So I'm going to call it good so far. We're going to let that cool, and then I'll get that in for temper. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to try doing more live videos and create more content. Be sure to watch. You can see me on, let's see, what is it? Disney Plus now, which makes me right up there with Disney princesses, since Forged in Fire is on Disney Plus. You can brag about that. I get to brag about being on there with Lilo and Stitch.
Well, what I'm saying is I've got a lot of... I've had a lot of inspiration from Disney characters, like Beauty and the Beast. It showed me that, like, a guy with abnormally large amounts of facial and back hair can get like a really hot chick. and have a nice mansion and stuff like that. So I'm working on the mansion. So there we go. You guys have a great one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, and please share this out. We'll catch you in a few.
I'm trying to end it.
Have you figured it out?
Yes.
Okay.